Okay. So as you can see, as I pumped up the blood pressure cuff, her veins are really popping out. Okay. All right. So what I do when I feel for veins, I observe first. Okay. And you're going to see me decompress the tourniquet, and you're going to see me pump it up again, because what's happening is as you decrease the pressure and you pump it up again, it's like a passive form of exercise, you know. So because usually when we tell our patients, you know, stand up and walk around so your veins pop out. So instead of doing that, this is like a form of working out. So I'm going to pump it up again. So I'm going to be running IVIG. So the fastest I'm going to be running it is probably like 140 ml per hour, something like that. So the veins will tolerate it well. And what I do is not only do I search for the veins, but I pretend like I'm going to insert the catheter. So I hold the arms the way that I would hold it. I would hold the vein and secure the veins as if I'm getting ready to poke the vein. All right, so I'm going to pump it up here to about 140. So we're going to mimic a venipuncture. So I know my patient can't really make a fist, because ideally I would want a fist, okay, so that it would cause the skin to be even more taut and prevent more rolling. But since she can't do it, I'm going to hold the vein and the skin taut for her. Okay, so I'm gonna pump up my tourniquet, and we're going to select a vein. So I think, so I'm gonna feel for, I think this vein right here is probably the best one. It's deeper, but it's less of a rolling vein. This right here is less of a rolling vein than the other ones here. Okay, although all these other veins are good too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the skin like I'm going to insert the catheter, decrease the pressure again. And the way that I secure the vein in the skin is I do like a C clamp. Oh shoot, there we went my monitor. Okay, I do a clamp with my left hand. So whatever your non-dominant hand is, you're gonna be securing with. So I hold the bottom of the wrist with my middle finger, and then with my index finger up above the vein and the insertion site, and below the insertion site, because I want to go insert right around here. So see what I'm doing? I'm not really pulling. I'm not pulling, but I'm keeping the vein from bunching up. See, because if you're not holding the skin taut, it bunches up like this. Okay, and you don't want to do that, because when you insert the needle, you're not going to get, it's not going to pierce the skin properly, and you can overshoot the vein once the needle penetrates the skin. Okay, so what I like to do, hold the skin taut, and then as you penetrate or attempt to penetrate the skin, see the skin's not bunching up. That's exactly what you want to do. Okay. Okay, so now I've chosen the vein. I'm going to put on my gloves. Okay, so my needle of choice is a 22 gauge Intracan. These are the best IV catheters, I believe. They're stable, they're good quality, they don't bend too easily. And since it's a 2-day IV, I want the IV to stay overnight, okay? Because like when the patient sleeps, you don't want any risk of the IV getting dislodged while she's sleeping. Right. Okay, so that's the 22 gauge Intracan IV. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to prime my extension and my IV extension tubing. It's ready to go. Put it right here. So you want to put your equipment where it's easy to get, okay? You don't want to be putting this way across your body so that when you have blood return and you've puncture the vein, that you don't want to be reaching around to try to get your equipment. You want it right by you when you need it, okay? Okay, so now I'm ready to puncture the vein. So I'm going to pump my blood pressure cuff up to about 160-ish. All right. I'm going to get my Intracan out. Okay, so this is where I want to go. It's rolly. It's a rolly vein, but you just have to really secure it. And what you want to do first is separate the cannula from the flash chamber. You only have to go like about 1 millimeter, because what that does is sometimes out of the factory, this bonds to this chamber, okay? And what happens is if you don't separate it, once you're inside the vein, you're going to get a false sense that this thing is catching to a valve, okay? But in reality, what's just happening is that this catheter has kind of bonded to the flash chamber. So what you want to do before you even insert is you want to separate initially the catheter from the chamber and then just put it back flush, okay? So your equipment, the catheter has to be flush to the chamber. You don't want to start your insertion with the catheter separated like this, okay? Because if that's the case, then the catheter is further than the needle. So you're not going to be able to you're not going to puncture the skin properly. Okay, so let's pump up the blood pressure cuff again to about 140. I'm going to give it time. I'm going to give the veins time to plump up. Okay, and I'm going to hold the skin taut. Okay, I'm going to go right here. Hold it taut so it doesn't roll. Okay, here we go.
You got my name? No.
We got blood return. Advance a little bit. Again, and then all the way. Are you okay? Okay, so now that we have blood return, I'm going to release the pressure. Before I remove the stylet flash chamber from the catheter, wait for the pressure to dissipate, because there's a lot of pressure still here at the hand. Wait for about maybe 10 seconds, okay? And then now put pressure distal to the catheter so it doesn't bleed. All right, and then remove the stylet. It's not bleeding, see that? If I let go of the pressure, it's gonna bleed. See that? Okay, so now I'm going to just keep pressure on. It's not bleeding. Screw this on. Okay. And then make sure that this extension tubing is screwed on tight to this hub, because over time, sometimes if it's not tight enough, it's going to loosen and you're going to squirt medication all over. It could bleed out of there and all that stuff. All right, so just to confirm, are you okay? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. We have good blood return, so we're in.